What if I told you that one of the best things you could do for your brain, your happiness, and your time was to just quit the news? Cold turkey. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's the core idea from author Rolf Dobelli. And in this explainer, we're going to dive into his case against our daily obsession with headlines.
You know, this whole thing doesn't start with some dry academic theory. It starts with a confession. Dobelli kicks things off by calling himself a recovering news addict, which is a pretty powerful way to begin, right? It immediately forces us to look in the mirror and ask about our own habits.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll hear his personal confession. Then, we'll get into his big analogy, the idea that news is like sugar. After that, we'll dig into the hidden costs, check out his 30-day detox plan, and finally, we'll explore what life could actually look like beyond the never-ending news cycle.
So how does someone even become a news addict? Well, for Dobelli, it wasn't some sudden thing. It started out as a totally normal daily ritual, one that probably sounds pretty familiar to a lot of us, before it slowly morphed into something much, much bigger.
I mean, just try to picture his childhood in the 70s. The newspaper lands on the doorstep at 6:30 a.m. Then you've got radio news at 7, at 12:30, at 6:30 p.m., and TV news at 7:30. It was just a part of the day, as normal as eating breakfast. As he got older, he'd spend entire weekends in libraries, just devouring newspapers from all over the world.
And then, boom, the internet happened, and it was like throwing gasoline on a fire. Suddenly, news wasn't something that arrived on a schedule. It was a constant, 24/7 fire hose of information. RSS feeds, news alerts, endless updates. A manageable habit turned into an all-consuming, round-the-clock obsession. And this is the turning point. After spending literally thousands of hours of his life on this, Dobelli finally paused and asked himself two simple but brutal questions. Do I actually understand the world any better? And am I making better decisions because of all this? The answer, he realized, was a huge, resounding no.
Okay, so if it wasn't making him smarter, what makes it so bad? Well, to explain this, Dobelli came up with a really powerful metaphor. He argues that news is to our mind what sugar is to our body, and once you hear it, the whole problem just clicks into place. Think about it. This analogy is kind of perfect, right? Sugar is tempting. It's easy to get. It gives you that quick little rush of energy and satisfaction. News is exactly the same. It's appetizing, it's served in these tiny, easily digestible bites, and it gives you a quick hit of feeling in the know. But just like sugar, it never actually makes you full. It doesn't lead to real understanding, and over time, it's really, really bad for you.
Now, we need to be really clear about what he means by news. He's not attacking long-form investigative journalism or thoughtful books, not at all. He's talking about that constant stream of short, flashy, context-free bits of information. You know, the breaking news alerts that are designed to do one thing, grab your attention, even though they usually have zero real relevance to your actual life.
All right, so if news is the mind's sugar, what's the actual damage? According to Dobelli, this isn't just some vague feeling. It harms us in very specific, very tangible ways, starting with the one thing in our lives we can never, ever get back.
1 whole month. Just let that sink in. Every single year, the average person wastes an entire month of their life just consuming news. When you add up all the little moments, reading articles, watching clips, just getting distracted by alerts, it's a staggering amount of time. Time you could be spending with family, learning a skill, or, just living.
But it gets worse, because it's not just about lost time. He argues that news actively messes with our ability to think deeply. It completely distorts how we see risk in the world, and it even has a measurable negative impact on our physical health. To see how news messes with our perception of risk, let's look at his collapsing bridge example. So, a bridge collapses, and a car falls into the river. What's the first thing the news focuses on? It's the personal, emotional story, right? The driver, their family, where they were going.
And here's the problem. The truly important story, the one that could actually keep us all safe, isn't about that one car. It's about the boring, complex stuff, the bridge's structural integrity, the maintenance budget, the inspection reports. The news gives us the sensational drama, which makes us miss the real, systemic risks that actually affect us all.
And remember how I said it makes us physically sick? This is literally how. Constantly consuming a diet of scary, sensational, and infuriating stories
triggers your body's stress response. It floods your system with cortisol, and over time, that chronic stress weakens your immune system, messes with your digestion, and leaves you stuck in a state of anxiety.
Okay, so it's bad. We get it. What on earth do we do about it? Well, Dobelli's solution is simple. It's pretty radical, but he says it's incredibly effective. A complete 30-day news detox.
The steps are really straightforward, but they take commitment. It's all about getting rid of the temptation. Cancel the subscriptions, delete the apps, nuke the bookmarks from your browser. The whole point is to make it hard to get that cheap, easy news fix, forcing you to be way more intentional.
Now, he's very honest about this. The first week is going to be tough. You're going to feel anxious, you'll have that nagging fear of missing out, that FOMO. But if you stick with it, after a few weeks, something amazing starts to happen. That anxiety is replaced by a sense of calm and focus. And you have a huge realization. If something is truly important, you'll find out about it anyway.
So once you've broken the cycle, what's life actually like on the other side? It's not about being disconnected. It's about building a fundamentally healthier, better way of engaging with the world around you.
This quote really just sums up the whole goal. See, it's not about becoming ignorant. It's the exact opposite. It's about reclaiming your own mental space. The result is a life that's less anxious and reactive and way more thoughtful and intentional. You end up making better decisions because you're finally operating from a place of clarity, not just constant noise.
The key is you can't just leave a vacuum. You have to replace the empty calories of news with something nourishing. So instead of scrolling headlines, go deep. Read books. Read long articles and essays. Focus your energy on things inside your circle of competence, the areas where you actually have some influence. And honestly, just talk to your friends and family. It's a pretty great way to stay informed.
Which really brings us to the final critical question. In a world that is constantly fighting for a piece of your mind, maybe the most radical thing you can do is to take back control of your own attention. So, knowing all this, who are you giving yours to?